HealingYourself.Life provides information for awareness, educational, and support purposes only and does not diagnose or prescribe treatment for any medical condition. Viewers are encouraged to do their own due diligence and consult with their own medical caregivers before making personal treatment decisions. Welcome back to HealingYourself.Life. I'm Dunagun and Kaiser.
I'm Melody Kaiser.
And we're here to talk about remedies and resources for healing yourself from Candida. The way that we unfortunately found ourselves subject to Candida was that after being treated for chronic Lyme disease, our antibiotics that we were on had damaged our gut so much and damaged our natural intestinal bacteria and flora that are supposed to, the healthy ones that are supposed to live in your gut, that we had an overgrowth of this otherwise naturally occurring yeast called Candida albicans. And everybody's got it, but it's held at bay just like weeds are held at bay in a healthy yard by healthy grass or whatever, by your healthy flora. But you go carpet bombing your healthy flora with really powerful antibiotics, and there's nothing to stand in the way of overgrowth of this naughty Candida albicans.
Yeah, we were trying to do some good healthy things, like we would take probiotics and things like that, but it wasn't enough because the antibiotics just killed those too, and they'll kill your good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria.
So if you want to see our other video on it says what now we have Candida too, that's a different episode, but this one is about some specific supplements we're going to show you, some specific food types that were helpful to us, and some specific references that may be helpful to you in finding your way back to health from Candida. So shall we start on? If you, one of the places to find some help is...
we have one book. There are other things online. This we got from our doctor. So, again, you probably want to find a good Candida literate doctor.
I mean, the one thing, if this is about the diet, is you can look up the Candida diet online.
Yes. Unfortunately, there are many, and when I looked them up, we found out that really if you try to combine all of them, you won't be able to eat anything. So you just have to pick one. And this one goes into, some will say you can eat some different kinds of fruit, and some will say you can't eat any fruit.
That's started phase 1 or what?
So this one was on phase 1, and on this particular diet, you could eat almost all vegetables except for like corn.
Should we show them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Anyway, and this one in particular, I was amazed that you could, because I had been following a different diet that really said no fruit at all. But even on this one, I think you'll notice maybe it's phase 2 that brings fruits. Yeah, watermelon, muskmelon, honeydew, and cantaloupe. So I don't know what is about those particular ones that you can have, but apparently you can have them even on your first phase 1. So that was a great relief that we could eat those things. And that was phase 2. And you move on, you're on several months of each one. Obviously, phase 1 is the hardest, and you will lose weight, especially if you have to take out, and you will have to take out any treats. You will not be eating any sugar whatsoever, and any carbs except for maybe what's in a small amount of vegetables. So, there's no bread that you're going to be eating in phase 1, and I don't think in phase 2 either. So by phase 3, it gets a little easier. You can, if you're not allergic to oats, I think you can incorporate oats.
Tapioca, carob, arrowroot, and all unrefined oils.
And molasses then as well, which is nice because I just made some what I would call molasses cookies. They're ginger cookies. And so that's great to have that taste and texture again. And I was able to do that.
Also, it introduces rice syrup as a sweetener.
Yeah, and that actually you get used to it. None of these, believe me, it doesn't compare with.
Doesn't taste the same.
It doesn't taste the same, but at least you're being able to satiate some of a little bit of your sweet tooth if you had one.
And then there's finally graduating to phase 4, where you can add in more whole grains, healthy stuff, but you still leave certain things just completely out, like alcohol, caffeine usually.
Coffee, no alcohol, and again,
no processed sugars,
no
refined
processed sugar
flour,
at all.
bleach,
Right. And so we've been
processed
pretty
flours.
much trying to stay away. We've started to incorporate in the phase 4 a little bit of honey. I have not yet done honey, but I really should for allergies. And we found a very good local
Right, local's important
honey.
with honey.
But,
You
yeah.
get the local pollen.
Right. So that was very important. Okay. So back to the Candida.
While you're on that diet, though, it can be really struggling to find, like, what are you going to eat for breakfast if you
Right.
can't have toast and you can't have cereal and you can't
right.
have all these things because
Yes.
they have grains and starches in them.
Yeah, and luckily there are places you can go for things like that. Yeah, we did find that later on, but I found recipes where it was basically almond butter. If you're not allergic to almond butter, you could substitute. I like now substituting pecan, and it was mostly that and eggs, and I added a little bit of
omelets.
coconut flour so I could make not omelets, honey.
Well, you can make
waffles.
Oh,
you
oh,
could
you're
make omelets.
you're
Of course,
saying
you
a
can make
recipe.
omelets.
She's
But I'm
describing
just
her-
saying you
her
can
waffle
look up.
recipe.
You can look up
sorry.
a waffle recipe. And it worked really great in the waffle iron, so that I felt like I was eating a real textured,
Tasted bready.
bready, and that because I was missing bread a lot, so I was able to make that. And it was very
we should
good.
we should put in here. We will. How about we'll take your recipe
Okay.
and put it in here so that people can see it because
Okay.
it's really great. It's really wonderful.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't know when you can start incorporating because we're on the 3rd and 4th phase as far as coconut, because I do use coconut flour. But the peanut, well, and nuts. But that's why almonds or pecans, not peanuts, because you have to stay away from peanuts for a while too, as well.
Right.
On the diet. So.
Yeah, peanuts are kind of questionable in general for people. I
Yeah.
love my
Yeah.
peanuts. I came from down south, but peanuts are questionable because they do contain aflatoxin, and they can be hard on your digestive system, no
Right.
matter what George Washington Carver says.
Yeah.
But we also found I don't know how you found this, but there was this brand we found called
it's
Julian's
great.
Bakery.
Yeah.
If you go to juliansbakery.com, I think it is, check it
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They've got not only, this is a granola, and guess what? You think, granola, no way, it's all going to be oatmeal and sugar, right? Wrong. There's no oatmeal and there's no sugar. In fact, there's no grains in here at all. If you look at the ingredients, it is egg white is the #1 ingredient, and then tapioca is the second ingredient, and tapioca did appear in the Candida diet.
Maybe not on phase 1.
Pumpkin
but
seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, sesame seeds, coconut oil, shredded coconut, cinnamon, vanilla, and the only sweetness in here comes from monk fruit, which is a non-caloric fruit that tastes sweet, but it doesn't have any artificial sweeteners in there. So, and then a probiotic, Bacillus coagulans. So that's it. But egg white, guys, is egg white powder is the #1 ingredient in this. No grains, no sugar.
Right.
Amazing.
That one I will say tastes good. I've not found a protein bar that I like yet from that company, but Lee likes them. Okay.
Compared to most
Excuse me.
protein bars and what's in them, if you have been looking for high protein and you're trying to stay away from things like soy, which can cause
Yeah.
estrogen increases
right,
in men
right.
and women, not necessarily what
And
you want.
fermented soy is okay, but regular soy we
Ordinary
found is not
protein
good.
bars just contain
Yeah.
like half of them out there that say high protein. You look in there, the soy
Yeah,
is what the protein is from, or they're particularly high in sugars. A lot of them are, or there are some artificial sugar substitutes like sugar alcohols and other things that can give you gastric distress.
Yeah,
or
right,
even
right.
stevia, which it's controversial.
Right.
Dr. Nielsen is not a fan.
Yeah,
of
others
stevia.
are. In fact, the in this particular book that we got
They-
from a different doctor, he recommends on your phase 1 stevia as a
But-
sweetener.
But that same
So-
Julian's Bakery, I don't know if I can hold these up so you guys can see it.
And they do not use stevia.
They make like 20 different flavors of these paleo or pegan, meaning paleo-vegan protein bars. And if you look at the ingredients on these guys, it's really astonishing. This one says egg white protein, organic fiber from tapioca, sunflower seeds, vanilla, and monk fruit. And this one has some other stuff in there that's different. But the whole idea is there's the egg whites, or they even have some that are based on beef protein, or they have others that are based on pumpkin seed protein.
Yeah.
They have others that are based on.
Another one, you didn't bring it down, Sachi Inchi is a new...
I can run and get it.
Okay, he's going to run quick and get it. And I'll talk about some other things that we've used in our toolbox to deal with the Candida. Now, one thing we did use, and some people might be very much against it, diflucan, our doctor gave us, and nystatin. And we used that as well. It can be hard on the liver. It was a smaller dose on the diflucan. And we found that worked quite well. But again, with that, it really does kill a lot of your important things. You want to be taking some really good things long after, you usually take the diflucan once a day. The nystatin's a little trickier if you do that. It's like 4 times a day. But again, we would take the, I will get them out, the 2 things. Oh gosh, there's more than that. It's, I can't, there we go. Okay. The Saccharomyces boulardii is a very important one in your toolbox to have because it will rebuild the good bacteria in your body. It pushes out the bad. I think yes, because you're multiplying it. It pushes out the bad yeast, and this substitutes for the very good. I believe it's a yeast. The Saccharomyces boulardii is a yeast, and that will build into your gut, which is what you want. You want that healthy stuff. And again, we take that separated from. Yeah, we separate it also from when we were taking. We're done with the diflucan, but we separate from the diflucan because the diflucan would kill that
Did
as
you already
well.
show them that stuff?
Nope. And I'm going to move on to the thorn, which is another. It's
Undecyclinic acid?
Yes, thank you.
I'll show you on the ingredient list so you can see how it's spelled, guys.
Yeah. And
10 undecyclinic acid. Undecanoic acid.
Yeah.
See that one there?
And that's real good as well, I believe.
It's known as formula SF722.
Yeah.
And it does say undecyclinic acid on the front. Look at that.
Yeah, it does.
What do you know?
Do you remember what that one does? Because I know our doctor...
It actually destroys the Candida yeast, but it also does it by dissolving their protective coating or whatever like that.
So that's why we also take this separate from the Saccharomyces boulardii, which take the Saccharomyces in the middle of the night. And then the AMD.
Advanced microflora delivery. This one is just a very sophisticated way of supporting your gut health and giving you the ability. It's prebiotics in here, and it helps to get your gut right to support your probiotic, your natural flora. I just ran up because we were talking earlier about sources of high protein, and this is the Sacha Inchi. It's actually a South American from Peru. They call it the Inca peanut actually, but you can buy it in powdered form. It's a very high quality, high protein powder you can add into shakes and smoothies and stuff like that. It works great with a vegan or paleo diet. Mm-hmm. And I think there's one more thing. Oh yeah, back when you were talking about avoiding sugar, like breakfast cereal.
Yeah, right.
When you get to the right stage of the Candida diet,
yeah.
you're just craving, anything that would be like what you used to enjoy for breakfast.
Right.
And almost zero of the breakfast cereals out there have like no sugar at all in them.
Right.
And no corn, because corn is allergenic and so on.
Right.
But this Erewhon Bakery makes crispy brown rice, gluten-free, and it has no gluten, no corn, no sugar.
Less than 1 gram of sugar.
Less than 1 gram of sugar, no sugar added.
Right.
So it's
right.
just what would be naturally in the rice.
And we've found for our own self, we do better gluten-free. Our guts just seem to like that for right now. We are being treated for some food allergies because when you do get a leaky gut, like I suspect Lee and I both have, you become allergic to things. So on mine, I took a test and I came allergic to milk and stuff. So I do still I take a goat's milk instead, and I do still like cheese. So I do that, but I make sure that I take Lactaid with it, and sometimes I still feel like I get a reaction to it, but I'm still liking it. So.
If you want to learn more about leaky gut, we saw a free video online by Dr. Axe.
Yes, Dr. AXE.
And it's about 45 minutes or an hour long, and it's talking all about why gut is so important. And he talks about how so many kinds of diseases, actually he quoted a doctor who said all kinds of diseases originate in the gut. That the gut is your largest surface of contact with the outside world, even though it's inside yourself. It's the largest active area of your immune system, where you're defending yourself in the outside world. And the food you eat is supposed to get broken down by a healthy digestive system into tiny little fragments that are so small that when they pass through your gut, a healthy gut, into your bloodstream, they won't cause allergic reactions because they're not big complex blobs of protein anymore that are from these foreign things that came into you. But in a leaky gut, which has been damaged by antibiotics and other things, big chunks of not fully digested proteins and weird things from the outside can pass directly into your bloodstream and cause basically systemic allergic reactions inside your body. So ways of healing your gut include, now we mentioned coconut oil earlier, but here's also bone broth. You remember the old saying that grandma's chicken soup is really good for you? Well, it is. And this is organic bone broth. The really
it's very
cool
good
thing,
for you.
really cool thing you can find about bone broth if you look at it. Look at 9 grams of protein, 0.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of carbs, and it's extremely soothing to the gut. So if you're having like diarrhea, or if you're having stomach aches, digestive bloating from gas or whatever, this stuff, because it's super low carbs, is not going to cause gas. And then you can get it in a powdered form too, which is really good for adding protein into. You can stir this into smoothies or shakes or sprinkle it on things or whatever. Put it into baking.
Right. Yeah.
And get healing your gut and keeping your protein up all at the same time.
Right. The other thing we mentioned on our what we take for Lyme video, this is also good for Candida. It's the caprylic acid. It's also for digestive health, and that also comes from coconut oil, and the L-lysine monolaurin, very good for both of those. And let me suggest too, when we take our Saccharomyces boulardii and the AMD that we talked about, any other probiotics that you want to take, yes, I encourage you to take them during the day as well, but take them at night on an empty stomach when you've done, because when you do the caprylic acid or coconut oil, or and we should mention another thing, the grapefruit seed extract is also very good, thank you, for Candida, and it tells you how many drops to take. They also have it in pill form. These things are antibacterial, antiviral, and so they can not help you with the
healthy bacteria.
Healthy bacteria. It can kill the bacteria too. So you want to rebuild that
at a time when you're not taking these at the same time.
Yes, and so we take probiotics in the middle of the night as well. When we have an empty stomach, that our body will then absorb them better.
Oh, we get to show the diatomaceous earth again because it's also on our Candida list.
Yes.
We showed this also on our Lyme video, but if you take a look at this is food grade diatomaceous earth, and again, that's microscopically it looks like razor blades, but to us it looks like just like baking flour, and it doesn't really have any, maybe a little chalky flavor. You can stir it into a teaspoon into a drink or a smoothie or whatever, even into water. Drink it down, and if you do have overgrowth of Candida yeast, it will shred them in your digestive system and help to bring balance back to that. I think those are most of the ones. Is there anything else we forgot?
You know, I was reading just another thing. When you get farther on the Candida diet, pomegranate juice is very good for your brain and memory. So if you're having trouble, because Candida does, also affect your brain, you can get brain fog, things like that. There are some certain things to take that are good for your brain health, and pomegranate juice is one of them. And
so there's some tips and tricks, some remedies and resources.
Oh, there was one more. I'm sorry, I don't have the bottle. Lion's mane. I think it's a mushroom.
It's a herb, mushroom,
and herbal, and that's supposed to help with your brain health as well, and mental acuity. So those are just some good suggestions. Obviously, you don't have to take everything, but it can be helpful, especially if you're having any brain issues.
Thanks for joining us to talk about Candida and how you can take steps to help yourself heal from it and return to being able to eat a normal, well, not a modern diet. Don't go back back to eating junk food and processed foods and bad stuff.
Right.
But you can eat back to a healthy, normal diet that our ancestors enjoyed with great health.
Right.
And
I think the longer, like I've been on the Candida diet, different phases, obviously, for about a year almost a year, and so you end up, for me, I would still like some M&Ms, but I don't. It's not like I crave them anymore. So the healthier you eat, like McDonald's. Who wants to go to McDonald's? So as you improve, some of the temptations that you have now that you might be craving, they'll go away later and ease, and you'll find that you actually crave healthier food.
Yeah.
And some people will go to, there's the paleo diet and there's the ketogenic diet. In the ketogenic diet, really, you won't be eating a lot of fruit if you do that. I tend to like fruit, and I think fruit is healthy. I love watermelon, and that is okay on the Candida diet that we're on. So again, you'll find what works for you, and whether you want to stay away from, for us, we now are incorporating and have been for a while, potatoes and yams and rice, but we're not going to full bread again. We just don't really desire it. We'll do gluten-free. We're trying to stay away from yeast, but there is yeast in some of the breads that we've started to eat. But and we seem to be doing okay on that. So again, there are phases. So, and I think you'll just crave healthier food.
Hope that some of these ideas are helpful to you, and feel free to add your own suggestions that you are
great.
aware of, or links or the names of books, or links to online articles or videos that you found particularly helpful in healing yourself from Candida albicans, or Candida. And
you can say it either way, apparently.
And thank you very much, as always, for joining us here on HealingYourself.Life.
Thank you.